Ladies and gentlemen, every day you must engage the altar of prayer with understanding. Victory is enforced when spiritual laws are activated. As you pray, light rises within you, chains break, doors open, and grace speaks. Declare the word with faith, align your spirit, silence resistance, and command blessings to respond. In this atmosphere, confusion gives way to clarity, weakness turns to strength, and favor locates you by covenant. Let the authority of truth govern your steps as heaven backs your obedience. Victory is enforced through consistent, faith-filled prayer, because nothing in the realm of the Spirit responds to wishes or emotions. It responds to authority, alignment, and persistence. Prayer is not a religious routine meant to comfort the conscience. It is a spiritual technology that engages heaven and legislates outcomes on the earth. When a believer understands this, prayer stops being occasional and becomes a lifestyle. Consistency is proof of conviction, and faith is the force that gives prayer its voice. Every time prayer is lifted in faith, it registers in the spirit realm as a legal demand backed by divine truth. Victory does not happen by chance. It is enforced by men and women who understand spiritual protocol and refuse to be silent. Faith-filled prayer is rooted in revelation, not desperation. It is possible to pray loudly and still pray empty if faith is absent. Faith comes from light, and light comes from truth. When prayer is built on the knowledge of who God is, who you are in Him, and what has been secured by covenant, it carries authority. Such prayer is not begging God to act. It is aligning with what He has already spoken and insisting that it manifests. This is why consistency matters, because enforcement is rarely a one-time event. Resistance exists, delays exist, opposing systems exist, and only sustained spiritual pressure produces visible victory. In the spirit realm, consistency is interpreted as seriousness. Sporadic prayer communicates uncertainty, but consistent prayer establishes dominion. When you show up daily at the place of prayer, you are announcing to the forces of darkness and the systems of heaven that you understand your responsibility. Prayer creates spiritual momentum. Each session builds upon the last, layering authority upon authority until resistance collapses. This is why people who pray consistently begin to experience unusual stability, clarity, and favor. Their victories are not accidental. They are the outcome of accumulated spiritual transactions. Faith-filled prayer also involves speaking, not just thinking. The spirit realm is word-driven. Silence may feel humble, but declarations are what shift atmospheres. When prayer is mixed with faith, words become instruments of power. You speak light into darkness, order into chaos, and life into dead situations. The mouth becomes a gate through which authority flows. This is why victory prayers are bold, specific, and grounded in truth. They do not negotiate with fear, they confront it. They do not entertain doubt, they silence it. Victory is enforced when prayer becomes intentional. Faith-filled prayer is deliberate, not vague. It names issues, confronts patterns, and addresses root causes. It understands that battles are rarely physical. They are spiritual expressions with physical symptoms. When prayer is informed, it stops treating symptoms and starts addressing foundations. This level of prayer requires discipline because it demands focus, patience, and spiritual sensitivity. Consistency keeps the believer sharp, alert, and aligned, ensuring that prayer does not degrade into noise. There is also a dimension of prayer that builds spiritual stamina. Consistent prayer trains the spirit to dominate the flesh. Many defeats happen not because victory is unavailable, but because endurance is lacking. Faith-filled prayer strengthens inner capacity, making it possible to stand until manifestation arrives. Those who pray occasionally may start strong, but collapse under pressure, while those who pray consistently develop resilience. Victory often belongs to those who can remain standing the longest in faith. Prayer enforced by faith attracts divine backing. Heaven responds to faith because faith honors God's integrity. When you pray believing, you are testifying that God is faithful, powerful, and true. This posture compels divine involvement. Angels respond to faith-filled words. Instructions are released, alignments are adjusted, and doors begin to open. Consistent prayer keeps these channels active, ensuring uninterrupted flow between heaven and earth. Faith-filled prayer also sharpens spiritual discernment. As consistency is maintained, sensitivity increases. You begin to recognize seasons, detect opposition early, and respond strategically. Victory is not only about winning battles, it is also about avoiding unnecessary ones. Prayer provides intelligence, and intelligence preserves victory. Those who pray consistently do not react blindly. They move with insight, precision, and confidence. Ultimately, victory enforced through consistent, faith-filled prayer becomes a culture rather than an event. Life itself becomes an extension of the altar. Decisions are made from a place of communion. Actions are taken from a place of authority, and challenges are confronted from a position of strength. Such a believer does not wait for emergencies to pray. Prayer becomes the environment in which life operates, where faith continually speaks. Authority continually flows, and victory continually responds to alignment, pressure, and truth operating without interruption or retreat, as the Spirit remains engaged, alert, and unwavering in expectation. Spiritual authority is activated by alignment with truth. Because authority in the spirit realm is not self-generated, it is derived from position, order, and compliance with divine principles. No one operates genuine authority simply because they desire it. Authority flows where alignment exists, and alignment begins with truth. Truth is not information alone. It is reality as defined by God. When a believer aligns their thoughts, words, decisions, and posture with truth, they step into a legal standing that the spirit realm recognizes and responds to. Misalignment weakens authority, even when zeal is present. A person can be passionate, active, and religious, yet ineffective if their life is disconnected from truth. The spirit realm does not respond to effort, it responds to order. Alignment is what places a believer within divine order. Truth becomes the measuring line that positions a person correctly before God, before themselves, and before spiritual systems. Once alignment is achieved, authority flows naturally, without strain or struggle. Truth governs identity. Many believers struggle with authority because they do not see themselves correctly. When identity is distorted, authority is compromised. Alignment with truth restores identity by revealing who God is, who Christ is, and who the believer is in Christ. This revelation removes inferiority, fear, and insecurity. Authority cannot operate where self-doubt dominates. When truth defines identity, confidence emerges, not as pride, but as assurance rooted in divine approval. Alignment with truth also governs obedience. Authority is sustained by submission. A person cannot rebel against divine instructions and expect spiritual authority to function. Obedience keeps authority alive. Truth reveals what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. As obedience becomes consistent, authority becomes stable. This is why some people experience brief moments of power, but cannot sustain it. Alignment was temporary, so authority was temporary. Truth disciplines the mind. The greatest battles against authority happen internally. Wrong beliefs, unchecked imaginations, and unresolved doubts erode spiritual confidence. Alignment with truth renews the mind, silencing lies and replacing them with divine perspective. When the mind agrees with truth, the spirit gains permission to dominate. Authority is strengthened when internal resistance is eliminated. A divided mind weakens authority, but a mind aligned with truth becomes a weapon. Spiritual authority is also activated by alignment with truth in speech. Words are containers of authority, but only when they agree with truth. Speaking without truth produces noise, not power. Declarations backed by truth carry weight. This is why alignment matters before speaking. When words flow from a heart convinced by truth, they command attention in the spirit realm. Lies collapse under truth. Confusion gives way to order, and resistance weakens because truth cannot be challenged. Truth governs timing and seasons. Many failures of authority occur because actions are taken outside divine timing. Alignment with truth brings discernment, allowing a believer to recognize seasons and respond accurately. Authority expressed at the wrong time can produce unnecessary conflict. Truth provides wisdom, ensuring that authority is exercised strategically, not emotionally. This precision preserves strength and maximizes impact. Alignment with truth also affects relationships. Authority is reinforced or weakened by associations. Truth exposes connections that drain virtue and those that enhance growth. When relationships are aligned with truth, authority is amplified. When relationships contradict truth, authority leaks. This is why spiritual growth often demands separation before elevation. Alignment sometimes requires letting go, not as punishment, but as preparation for greater responsibility. Truth creates consistency. Authority is not demonstrated once, it is proven over time. Alignment with truth produces stability in character, values, and conduct. Consistency builds credibility in the spirit realm. Just as inconsistency confuses people, it weakens spiritual authority. When heaven sees alignment sustained over time, greater authority is entrusted. Authority grows with faithfulness. Alignment with truth also sharpens discernment between power and authority. Power can be borrowed, but authority must be given. Many seek power without alignment, resulting in burnout and frustration. Truth teaches patience, process, and posture. Authority flows effortlessly when alignment is maintained, because it is supported by divine backing rather than personal strength. When alignment with truth becomes a lifestyle, authority becomes natural. Decisions are made from light, responses are measured, and actions are effective. Such a believer does not struggle to assert authority. It manifests as a byproduct of order. Darkness retreats, confusion clears, and resistance weakens, not because of shouting or force, but because truth has taken its place. Order has been restored, and authority is operating from a position that cannot be contested or overturned as alignment continues to regulate thought, conduct, speech. Obedience, relationships, timing, and inner posture without compromise or deviation from the reality established by divine truth, operating continuously in the life of the believer. Breakthrough follows light understanding. And obedience, because progress in the spirit realm is never accidental. It is a response to illumination and alignment. Darkness thrives where understanding is absent, and stagnation persists where light has not been allowed to enter. When light comes, confusion loses its authority. Understanding gives direction to effort, ensuring that energy is not wasted on wrong approaches. Breakthrough is not the reward of struggle alone. It is the outcome of correct engagement based on revealed truth. Light exposes root causes. Many people fight symptoms for years without touching foundations. Without light, effort becomes repetitive and frustrating. When understanding arrives, it reveals patterns, cycles, and spiritual laws governing outcomes. This is why moments of revelation often precede sudden change. Light does not just inform, it repositions. Once the mind is enlightened, the spirit gains access to strategies that were previously hidden. Breakthrough begins internally before it becomes visible externally. Understanding brings responsibility. Revelation demands response. Light that is ignored becomes judgment, not blessing. Obedience is the bridge between understanding and manifestation. Knowing what to do without doing it produces frustration. Obedience translates revelation into action. When instructions are followed precisely, systems begin to shift. Heaven responds to obedience because obedience proves trust. Breakthrough accelerates when obedience is prompt, complete, and joyful. Light also dismantles fear. Fear thrives in ignorance. When understanding increases, confidence replaces anxiety. Many delays are sustained by fear, disguised as caution. Revelation empowers courage. Obedience becomes easier when fear is removed. Breakthrough often requires movement, and movement demands courage. Light shows that the path is safe, even when it is unfamiliar. Understanding refines focus. Without understanding, people pursue many things at once and achieve little. Revelation simplifies direction. It identifies priorities and removes distractions. Breakthrough requires concentration. Obedience to revealed focus produces depth, not just activity. Those who break through are often those who mastered one instruction thoroughly, rather than attempting many things superficially. Light also clarifies timing. Many failures occur not because instructions are wrong, but because they are executed outside their season. Understanding reveals when to act and when to wait. Obedience to timing preserves strength and prevents unnecessary losses. Breakthrough comes when actions align with divine timing. Patience itself becomes a form of obedience when light instructs waiting. Understanding reshapes character. Breakthrough without character is dangerous. Light exposes areas that need refinement before elevation. Obedience to corrective truth prepares the vessel for increase. Many prayers are delayed not because God is unwilling, but because preparation is incomplete. Breakthrough is sustained by capacity. Understanding builds that capacity by correcting attitudes, motives, and habits. Light empowers consistency. Revelation removes doubt and hesitation. When a person is convinced by understanding, perseverance becomes possible. Obedience sustained over time compounds results. Breakthrough is often the product of accumulated obedience rather than one dramatic action. Small instructions obeyed consistently produce large outcomes eventually. Understanding also enhances discernment. Not every opportunity is a breakthrough. Some doors are distractions. Light helps distinguish between divine opportunities and counterfeit openings. Obedience to discernment protects progress. Breakthrough is preserved when wrong doors are avoided as much as when right doors are entered. Many people fail to break through because they operate below their true capacity. Understanding who you are restores confidence and boldness. Obedience flows naturally when identity is clear. When a person knows their place, they move with authority. Breakthrough responds to identity alignment as much as to effort. Understanding strengthens faith. Faith is not blind belief, it is confidence built on light. When understanding supports faith, endurance becomes easier. Obedience becomes an expression of trust rather than obligation. Breakthrough is accelerated when faith and obedience work together, supported by revelation. Light also exposes resistance. Opposition is often invisible until understanding reveals it. When resistance is identified, strategy becomes possible. Obedience to spiritual strategy dismantles barriers methodically. Breakthrough is not always instant, but it is inevitable when light guides action. Ultimately, breakthrough follows light. understanding, and obedience, because heaven is a God of order. Revelation provides direction, understanding supplies clarity, and obedience executes instruction. When these three operate together, stagnation collapses. Progress becomes unavoidable. Systems respond, barriers weaken, and doors open as alignment is maintained. Insight increases, and obedience continues without compromise, hesitation, or retreat, while the believer remains committed to acting on revealed truth, regardless of pressure, delay, or opposition operating in the environment or within the inner man. Blessings respond to covenant and divine order because nothing in God's economy operates randomly or emotionally. The realm of the Spirit is structured, governed by laws, principles, and agreements established by God Himself. A covenant is a binding spiritual agreement that defines access, responsibility, and outcome. When a person understands covenant, they stop chasing blessings and begin aligning with the systems that release them. Blessings are not prizes for effort. They are responses to position and order. Covenant establishes legality. Without covenant, there is no right to demand results. Covenant gives a believer access to promises that cannot be accessed by effort alone. It defines what belongs to you, what you are responsible for, and what God has committed Himself to perform. When covenant consciousness is absent, prayer becomes uncertain. When covenant is understood, prayer becomes confident. Blessings respond when legality is established. Divine order protects covenant. Covenant without order produces abuse. Order defines sequence, structure, and hierarchy. Many delays occur, not because covenant is broken, but because order is violated. God honors covenant, but He enforces order. When divine order is ignored, blessings are withheld, not as punishment, but as protection. Order preserves value and sustains increase. Covenant also governs obedience. Every covenant carries terms. Blessings are connected to compliance. This is not legalism, it is alignment. Obedience demonstrates honor for the covenant. When instructions are followed, covenant benefits are activated. Disobedience interrupts flow, not because God withdraws love, but because systems no longer align. Blessings follow obedience because obedience maintains order. Divine order also governs timing. Covenant promises are fulfilled in seasons. Impatience can lead to premature actions that sabotage blessings. Order teaches waiting, preparation, and process. Blessings released outside order can destroy the recipient. God delays some blessings to preserve the covenant carrier. When timing is honored, blessings arrive with peace, not pressure. Covenant establishes identity. Those in covenant are recognized by heaven and earth. Identity affects access. When identity is clear, blessings flow naturally. Order maintains identity by placing each person in their rightful position. When position is violated, confusion enters. Blessings respond to clarity of identity and position. Divine order governs stewardship. Blessings increase where responsibility is proven. Covenant does not remove accountability, it increases it. Order tests capacity before increase. Faithfulness in small things qualifies a person for greater things. When stewardship aligns with covenant, blessings multiply. When stewardship is ignored, blessings are restrained. Covenant also defines boundaries. Not every blessing is beneficial. Order determines what is allowed and what is restricted. Boundaries protect destiny. Blessings within boundaries build. Blessings outside boundaries destroy. Order ensures that increase does not compromise purpose. Covenant blessings always align with divine intent. Divine order affects relationships. Covenant connections accelerate blessings. Wrong associations delay them. Order separates, connects, and positions people correctly. Many blessings are relationally transmitted. When relationships align with covenant order, blessings flow easily. When order is violated, relationships become sources of struggle instead of channels of increase. Covenant sustains consistency. Blessings are not one-time events, they are flows. Order keeps systems functioning. Inconsistent alignment produces inconsistent results. Covenant faithfulness attracts stable blessings. Heaven entrusts more to those who can maintain order over time. Divine order also governs authority. Blessings increase influence. Influence without order leads to collapse. God increases authority progressively according to order. Covenant ensures backing. Order ensures stability. When both are present, blessings expand without chaos. Ultimately, blessings respond to covenant and divine order because God is committed to preserving purpose, protecting destiny, and sustaining impact. When covenant is honored and order is maintained, blessings are released naturally, continually and responsibly flowing through aligned systems. Obedient lives, prepared vessels, and structured pathways that ensure increase does not destroy, elevate without confusion, and prosper without deviation. As covenant consciousness and divine order remain firmly established in every area of life and spiritual engagement.